Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. It's Allan Laboucan with the Rocks and Stocks News Show, Monday, the 27th of October. Got some really good news to talk about from four companies that made news that really stands out to me. So let's get started with Kirkland Lake Discoveries. Hits 31.38 meters of 1.22% copper, 36.5 meters of 1.03%, 27.35 meters of 1.2% copper equivalent from surface, and makes a new gold discovery 2 kilometers northeast of the Winnie Shaft. Okay, so this project is in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt near Kirkland Lake, Ontario. Really well-known mining camp in Ontario, and part of the Abitibi Greenstone Belt, which is one of the greatest greenstone belts in the world. They talk about the intersection of high-grade copper sulfides from surface and led to two new gold and critical mineral discoveries, confirming new intrusive related mineralizing system centered on the Winnie Pluton within a 17-kilometer perimeter. This Winnie Pluton is a package of magmatic rock event that causes this big 17-kilometer intrusive. And now they've got an intrusion related discovery. As they talk about here, you can see in the high grade sulfides from the surface. Uh, and this first one starts at 14.62 meters below surface, 31.38 meters of 1.22% copper equivalent. And included inside of that was 5.02 meters of 3.31% copper equivalent. Another hole, 13.5 meters from surface. They hit 36.5 meters of 1.03% copper equivalent, including in that is 8.3 meters of 2.18% copper equivalent. Another one hit, a hole hit from 13.9 meters below surface, 27.35 meters of 1.27% copper equivalent. And included in that was 8.2 meters of 2.65% copper equivalent. Another hole, they had quite a few to talk about here, hit from 14.2 meters, 32.8 meters of 0.93% copper equivalent, including 4.7 meters of 4.02% copper equivalent. Really beautiful holes from their first pass drilling, and all starting really close to surface. New gold and critical first ever discovery of gold-bearing cyanite within the Winnie Pluton, associated with critical mineral elements, gold, silver, tellurium, bismuth, molybdenum, confirming a new style of mineralization for the district. District scale results confirm the 17-kilometer perimeter and interior of the Winnie Pluton are mineralized, establishing a new large-scale exploration front in Kirkland Lake Camp. That is a massive area to discover, and I'll show you in the maps what that all means. They're fully funded for major follow-up drilling with over 12 million in capital secured. KLDC is launching an expanded high-impact drill program guided by the newly completed Heli MT geophysical data. So why this is important is that the past geophysics was not didn't have the kind of depth penetration and resolution that this new Heli MT geophysical data will give them. So it gives them a better and clearer picture under the ground as to where they can drill. Uh, their their CEO Stefan Slepowicz, he stated, and I quote, these are our first holes into a new area, and the results speak to the strength of the system we're exploring. We used first pass soil and geophysical data to guide the drilling, and the success of those blind tests gives us real confidence in our model. The Winnie Pluton clearly has the scale and fertility to host multiple mineralized centers, and we're now focused on expanding and refining these targets. Discovering gold-bearing cyanite and copper-rich sulfides from surface in our initial program highlights the potential for both high-grade and large-scale systems within this intrusive complex. With the new Heli MT survey data in hand and over $12 million in capital, we're positioned to move quickly into a much larger, more targeted phase of drilling designed to follow up on these discoveries and test the full scope of the system. So again, folks, this is sort of their first pass at drilling this target, and all of these holes were only about 100 meters below the surface. And so they were just, trying to test to see if their theory of the system, the mineralizing system, makes sense. And this map just shows you the an immense target that they're looking at. You can see this hatched area here. This is the Pluton, okay? And they found it, the mineralization is all on the outside as the Pluton and the contact of the country rock. And as you can see, there's a whole bunch of geophysical anomalies surrounding that 17-kilometer perimeter of the Pluton. This gives them targets all over pretty much the entire perimeter, and outward from that perimeter is highly prospective. And not only did they find it at the perimeter, but now they're finding gold inside of the intrusion. So that opens up two basic target areas. One is your perimeter, and the other is inside of this huge intrusion. So it's a very impressive project. I'm quite excited. I'm a shareholder of the company, and just over the moon with these results. They did drilled 1,722 meters in 10 holes. They expanded the known high-grade gold, copper mineralization at the historical Winnie Shaft zone. So this is an old shaft that was dug in order to chase the mineralization. Now they've stepped out from there and expanded that with modern tech exploration, and hit a lot of beautiful numbers. Look at throughout these holes, all the distribution of the copper, cobalt, zinc, gold, silver, really great looking stuff. And then they have the more details about that. But these are the big things to keep in mind on this project, folks. This massive intrusion, the geophysics surrounding that. Now they've gone in with more modern geophysical survey. So this will give them much better definition of these various different geophysical anomalies and how they look three-dimensionally below the surface. So that will give them a better understanding on where to pinpoint as they start to drill deeper than that 100 meter of vertical depth. And then this is just really impressive to hit gold inside of the intrusion. So quite a special new project that's just coming online, and that's why they were able, with the sulfides that they saw in their drill core and have now come out with assay results, it led to a lot of optimism. And I'm not even talking yet about their gold target that they have over to the east that looks like it's a classic orogenic gold system. So take a look at KLDC, Kirkland Lake Discoveries. I'm really impressed with these results, and I think many others will be as well. All right. So the next company I've got for you today is Goliath. Goliath drills multiple high-grade gold intervals up to 10.72 grams per ton of gold over 7.83 meters, including 20.37 grams per ton of gold over 4.1 meters at the 1.8 kilometer square Sherbet discovery that remains wide open at the Gold Digger property in the Golden Triangle of British Columbia. Assays are still pending for 84 holes from this year's drilling, of which 66 of those representing 79% contain visible gold to the naked eye. So then they give you a rundown of the various different holes. That's the 10.72 gram one with the 20 grams gold over 4.1 meters. They had another one with 6.30 grams per ton of gold over 7 meters, 10.11 grams per ton of gold over 4.6 meters. So lots of great results in there. But I want to show you a couple of really important maps that help me really show you how impressive this project is as far as discoveries go. So here is a map, and what this map shows you in red are all the locations in the drill hole where they've seen visible gold. Okay? And as you can see, it's widespread over an area that's probably 1,500 meters from side to side. From this direction to this direction, you're looking at probably 800 to 1,000 meters. And look at all the widespread distribution of visible gold. This is a really, this map really shows how unique the Sherbet discovery is. You just do not see projects with this much visible gold widespread over a large area in the drill holes. I mean, to put it into context, folks, people are happy, companies are happy if they get surface samples with a little bit of visible gold in it. This is drill hole intersections with visible gold everywhere. Look at this area here. You could sort of outline this area here, and it's just a massive amount of visible gold. So now let's go to another map that they have. Let me get back to the right screen. Just give me a second. I'll get up here. And now what we're going to look at is a cross section. So this is like slicing the earth in half like a cake and looking at it from the side view. So remember I showed, now this is a zoom in on one particular area called the Bonanza BN2 vein. And this purple, it identifies the zone called the B9 Bonanza BN2 vein. And look at all of these intersections with visible gold. 12 grams over 11 meters, 13 grams over 6 meters, 12.52 grams over 7.95 meters, 11 grams over 11 meters, 15 grams over 11.9 meters, 11 grams over 27 meters, and this new hole, 27 or 10.72 grams per ton of gold over 7.83 meters. So this system, this vein is just loaded up with visible gold. And that's a very exciting prospect because, you think about it, folks, you're looking for coarse, visible gold, okay? And you're drilling a tiny little diameter drill hole through the rock and trying to find those zones that have that coarse gold. And look at how it's the coarse gold is distributed over a very large area. This is just no matter how you look at it, this is a spectacular, unique, high grade, loaded up with visible gold discovery. These do not come around very often, folks. This makes it what I consider to be a a unicorn gold discovery. And I call it a unicorn because it's very unique, and I just think that they have a spectacular discovery that every major mining company that's in interested in the Golden Triangle have to pay attention to because it is probably one of the top three or four high grade gold discoveries ever found in the Golden Triangle. I One of those was, of course, the Eskay Creek discovery that put the Golden Triangle of British Columbia on the map. Another one that my audience knows a lot about was the Bruce Jack discovery and mine that was made by Pretium. Pretium, I covered it from early in their success through to their takeover at $19 per share. It was a hugely successful pick, and I'm kind of thinking that this Sherbet discovery could land somewhere in the middle of the Bruce Jack and the Eskay Creek as far as important high grade gold discoveries in the Golden Triangle. So do your homework on Goliath Resources. Okay, Blackrock Silver drills 5.03 meters of 750 grams per ton of silver equivalent, including 1.83 meters of 1,661 grams per ton of silver equivalent, and reports multiple thick mineralized zones in the first assays from the Eastern Expansion drill program at the Tonopah West. The Eastern Expansion drill program is targeting prospective, shallow mineralization encountered in scout drilling across a 1.2-kilometer trend. So then they tell you here's those spectacular results: 5 meters, a 750 grams per ton of silver equivalent, which included 306 grams per ton of silver and 4.06 grams per ton of gold from 165 meters below the surface, including 1.83 meters grading 1,661 silver equivalent, which is made up of 724 grams per ton of silver equivalent and 8.58 grams per ton of gold. Hole 159 drilled 8.75 meters, grading 193 grams per ton of silver equivalent from 234 meters. And they had other holes there, 1.52 meters of 807 grams. That's the kind of stuff, 1 to 5 meters. That's what you look for in these high grade epithermal vein systems. That's very mineable, very profitable to mine. And they've got a really special situation developing for a silver project in Nevada near the town of Tonopah. They're fully funded. This is from their fully funded Eastern Expansion drill program. Where's the quote? There's Andrew Pollard, who's the CEO of the company. He stated, and I quote, "Initial assays from our Eastern Expansion program have returned both high grades and broad zones of shallow silver and gold intercepts potentially extending up to 1,200 meters along trend from the DPB South resource shell at the historic Ohio mine area on the eastern margin of the Tonopah West. Hole TXC 25 166 intersected 5.03 meters, grading 750 grams per ton silver equivalent, offsetting the mineralized structure first identified in RC TW 25 128, which returned two 1.52 meter zones grading 1,198 grams per ton of silver and 9.61 grams per ton of gold, starting at 292.6 meters and 219 grams per ton of silver and 1.72 grams per ton of gold, starting at 297.2 meters earlier this year. Thick zones of mineralization spanning between 5.67 to 8.75 meters were encountered in drill holes TXC 25 164 and TXC 25 159, just east of the existing DPB South resource area, situated in close proximity to our planned exploration decline. As our geological model continues to advance along the outer ring of the fraction caldera, and with assays pending from an additional 13 drill holes under the program, the submerging zone represents significant tonnage potential that can meaningfully expand the Tonopah West mineral resource base stemming from the edge of the DPB South zone through the eastern boundary of the Tonopah West. End quote. Let me get down to the map here so I can show you a little bit more about what all this means. Um, so, this is expansion drilling, folks. They're working on an updated resource estimate, and this is expansion drilling to increase the size of the of the of the zones. And these green areas represent where they are potentially planning to expand the zones. This is a key fault. Seems to have offset this mineralization, and that's part of the resource to increase the resource. So, and you've got this zone in between here and up in here, as well as these are the known resources in red, and the green is where they're expanding. So, as you can see, they're doing a lot of drilling to expand that known resource. So really great results, high grade in the typical intersections that you find at this project and in many high grade epithermal vein mines. So have a look at Blackrock. Okay, the final company for today is Argenta Silver. They drilled 263 grams per ton of silver over 35 meters, including 425 grams per ton of silver over 6.0 meters, and prepares for the commencement of the next drill program. So this was from they're in the southern hemisphere, so they just went through the winter and they were able to drill during the winter in Argentina. And this is a fourth set of assay results from that winter drill program, which was completed in mid-September 2025 at the 100% El Quevar project in the Salta province of Argentina. These results confirm high-grade silver intervals within the Yachi deposit, notably including 694 grams per ton of silver over 2.1 meters. Additional drill results highlight 204 grams per ton of silver over 2 meters at the Mani exploration target. So they're not just, they're in addition to expanding on the known resource, they're also starting to develop targets outside of the main vein, and they're hitting very nice grades of silver. Results from the two remaining drill holes from the 2025 winter program are still pending from the lab. So we got those to look for. And then they start drilling. So here's the highlights, and it gives you those headline numbers as well as the exploration at the Manny target. Joaquin Marios, who's the CEO, and he commented, and I quote, with summer conditions returning to Argentina and a strong treasury of Canadian 23 million, Argenta Silver Corp is fully funded and prepared to commence the 2025-2026 drill program at the El Quevar project. This program marks the beginning of a new phase for the company, building on the success of the prior exploration campaign. Drilling at the Yakchi deposit returned 35 meters, grading 263 grams per ton of silver, confirming the continuity of high-grade silver mineralization in the deposit area. Results from our exploration drilling on new targets indicates the presence of a mineralized system nearby that we have integrated into our geological model and look forward to following up on in the upcoming drill program. End quote. So then they give you the details about the 2025 winter drilling program, which again in the southern hemisphere just completed. Now they're going into the summer drilling season, and so they've got a long window to get a whole bunch of drills done, and they've got a lot of money to do that with. Canadian 23 million. They're doing a webinar on the October today at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern. You can click on that link in their news release to go get you to that presentation that they're doing later today. I'm so that's the Argenta Silver, really great project, and it's a silver only system with very high grades of silver. And so take a look at Argenta Silver. And also take a look at my weekend report that I put out on Saturday. In that, I talked about the reasons to be bullish on gold are just getting stronger and stronger. Last week, it was reported that the debt in the United States government debt has exceeded $38 trillion. A key reason that gold has done so well over the last year and a half since it broke out above 2100 and then set a series of new record highs is the death spiral of debt, which is getting worse, and the cost of servicing that debt is also unsustainable. You look at 38 trillion point two, and it's likely to be 40 trillion before the end of the year. You put the current interest rate on that of 4%, and you're looking at about 1.6 trillion in servicing the debt. And then you even if they drop that down to 3%, you're still looking at $1.2 trillion just to service the debt, folks. This is unsustainable. The death spiral of debt is getting worse by the day. And now we've also got stagflation starting to kick in, and that's what's been helping out the price of gold and the price of silver and the prices of the precious metals stocks. And I talked about why I am so bullish on all of those factors, and I think my headline for was it the perfect storm for gold, silver, and the precious metals stocks just keeps getting more perfect. So there you go, folks. That's my show for my in the news show for today. On that note, you do your homework, speak with your financial advisors. Have a great day, and we will talk to you soon.